What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of the OneFourthCareers podcast. I'm Xavier, your host, and I'm super excited today. I am bringing you another career, very special guest, a person I've known for a while, and there is a surprise of where this person currently lives. So can't wait to talk about that. I'm here with Travis. Travis graduated from Alabama A&M University in 2016 with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. And now Travis works at John Deere as a Senior Product Engineer. Travis, what's going on, my guy? Thanks for coming.
What's up, fam? How you doing, man?
Man, I am blessed and highly favored, brother. I'm doing well. Doing well. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you coming on. You were definitely one of the people I thought of like, I remember when I met you when I interned at John Deere, and I was like, who is this? Who is this man just looking like he glowing with Alabama A&M, oozing through him and hard work and all these things, like, really doing a lot of stuff that very much was inspirational that summer when I met you. So you're a person I was like, he had it in him. He had in him what we need to get out to the people. So really appreciate you coming on, man. So how's your summer? How's everything going where you're at?
So I am currently in Brazil, man, and it is winter here in Brazil. So the season swap between the U.S. and Brazil. So when it's summer in the U.S., it's winter in Brazil, and when it's summer in Brazil, it's winter in the U.S.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's about 65 degrees around this time of year. Not too bad.
Not at all.
Enjoying the outdoors, and it's always beautiful in Brazil, man. Always beautiful.
That is crazy. Okay, so the tea has been spilled. That is the other reason why I was thrilled to do this pod, because I think it's just mind-blowing the fact that you're working for John Deere in a totally different country. It is a dream of mine as well to be an expat one day with my family too. And I think that's really cool. So real quick, actually, before we kind of jump into the meat of the pod, why are you over there? Like, how does that work? Like, how does a person go to another country working for a company when they were originally based in the US? Can you tell the people a little bit about that?
No, absolutely. So John Deere is a global company, and we have facilities all over the world. And John Deere is now going through a new initiative here in Brazil, and they offered my wife and I an opportunity to come over to Brazil and be a part of that initiative. So we sat back, we thought about it, and how often do you get an opportunity to bring your family to another country, continue to do your job that you're doing, and being able to learn another culture, another language, different people in different parts of the world. So we jumped at it, man, and it's definitely been a blessing. We have a daughter who's 2 years old. She's learning fluent Portuguese here. So boa noite, pessoal, to all the people on the call, man. We're definitely excited to be here and just kind of talk about that experience, the things that it takes when you are here, and the things that you definitely take for granted, the small things. And when you come to a new space, how you have to evolve to adapt to those new processes to continue to do those small things.
Wow. Okay, well, we're already excited about where you currently are. Can you share a little bit of background about what do you want the people to know? How'd you get to where you are? Who is Travis?
No, absolutely, man. So as you said earlier, I went to Alabama A&M, so I definitely had to rep Alabama A&M today, man. So while I was at A&M, although I graduated in 2016, I attended TMCF, so that is ThurgoodMarshallCollegeFund. So I definitely encourage people to be a part of their professional organizations at their university. It is a place that allows you to develop, to get internships, to get opportunity, to get yourself in front of those professionals. In my very last summer in 2015, I interned for John Deere through TMCF. So John Deere was recruiting at TMCF. I was able to talk with them, interview, and I ended up in the Quad Cities, which is about an hour outside of Chicago. And during that internship, I was in facilities engineering. So I worked between 3 different factory locations, and I also worked with people on the factory line. And that experience allowed me to build a lot of relationships, more relationships than I ever thought that I would have during an internship. And that enthusiasm, those relationships that I built made me want to come back full time with Deere.
Mhm.
So when I graduated in 2016, I accepted a full-time opportunity with John Deere. But instead of being in the Quad Cities, I was then in Des Moines, which is about 2 hours from the Quad Cities, which was also another experience because I was able to see another area of the business and to continue to grow my brand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I was lucky enough to meet you, man. And we was all over the Quad Cities a little bit. My first time ever going to Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, man. And you showed a lot of love and you took care of Bulldogs. And I think that's something that was very noticeable. That obviously that's what we do, right? That's what we do for our people, man. So you mentioned that you've done a couple other different types of engineering, but knowing that you are a senior product engineer, how would you describe your roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So when I came into Deere full time in 2016, I've been with Deere for 9 years now.
Mm,
And in those 9 years, I have done 7 different roles.
wow.
From embedded software development for our intelligent solution group to product PV&V, so mechanical and electrical testing, to software PV&V for our machines as we develop embedded solutions for our customers. So from that experience, man, that has allowed me to be in the space that I am today as a senior product engineer, still supporting PB&V, but supporting PB&V from a crop care systems perspective for our region 3, which is our Brazilian customers.
Okay.
So with the knowledge and the skills that I built and the connections that I built over my 9 years of career, I am now utilizing those skills to support new initiatives that we have here in Brazil, building new relationships, understanding how we can connect, how we can work globally across the board, and also for me, continue to learn our customers and our purpose, the reason why we do it, and that is to provide a quality product for the customers that buy our machines.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of opportunity to travel to the field, man, talk with customers. I've been to India. I've been
What?
to a lot of different states in the US. And it's truly valuable, man, to hear customer feedback, how they feel about our equipment, how we can get better. And then we try to go back and use that knowledge and actually turn that knowledge into a solution. So being able to use communication and turn it into a technical skill, um, and utilizing that not only where I was in the US, but now here in Brazil, man. So
Yeah.
overall, it has been a great, fun 9 year career, man. Excellent things, opportunities that I've seen and I've experienced. And the big thing is also giving back to the people who are going to come after me as well.
Mhm.
So talking to those interns, like the way that we met when you came
Yep.
to Deere, and providing them those skills and talking about those skills that I've gained and how they can also gain it. So I
Mhm.
think it's also bigger than, me being here, but also giving back so that that next person who wants to be here can also build those skills to be in the position that I am when I leave.
Yeah. Well, time to end the pod right there. Time to go ahead and you already blew it all out the water, man. No, I love that. So you mentioned how you got into your role was through TMCF. So how would you describe what went into you securing the opportunities? Can you provide a little peel back of yes, TMCF was the vehicle for these opportunities, but what did you have to do to get that return offer to go on full time?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, one of the things that you learn about business is that companies are large and you're a one stakeholder in a large picture.
Mhm.
So, one of the skills that I definitely learned during my internship that allowed me to get that full-time opportunity is understanding more than just my job, but understanding
Ooh.
how my job impacts other people who depend on me, and ultimately how my job impacts the bottom line, which is the product that we're giving to the customers and the quality that we have in that product. So that is definitely one thing that I will definitely say, with people on the call is don't be afraid to step out of the job that you have, because the more that you learn, the better asset you become, because you're not only understanding your job, but now you understand the business.
Yep.
And that's the biggest piece. understanding, is there a market for this product? What are customers saying? How are we designing this product? How is customer support feeling about the design? Are we going to have dealers to be able to provide solutions when there are problems in the field? So all these stakeholders play a part in the bigger picture, but being able to get outside of that comfort zone, ask those tough questions, being able to listen, take that feedback and utilize it and excel in that space. So that is something I definitely learned working within those 3 factory locations. And by building those relationships, learning those different areas, I came back into a space that now I was able to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I think that that sometimes can be a struggle of, hey, I don't want to get out of my comfort zone. I am okay with where I am. But the biggest piece of how you learn is when you're in an uncomfortable space, because now you're in a space that you aren't familiar with. So how do you grow from that? How do you build on top of that uncomfortability that you have? And how are you utilizing that to become an asset for things that you don't know?
Yeah.
And I think the other part to it as well is asking questions, man. It's okay not to know everything. It's Every business is a large business, but if you're willing to ask questions, people are willing to help you because that is an opportunity that you're going to be able to grow. And when you learn, you can then pass that knowledge down to a person that may not know,
You read my
which
mind.
helps as above you and below you in the process.
Yeah, no, you read my mind because as you were saying all of that, of things that I reckon you picked up throughout your college experience, but especially your 9-year career so far, your successful career at John Deere, you've really taken a lot of these lessons. You've reflected on how did I end up here, and you're able to kind of identify things that you did, mindsets you had that got you to where you are. And I think that's an important call out of being able to ask questions and knowing that you don't have to have everything figured out. So if anyone's listening and you're like, man, Travis just gave me this long list of things that I need to do to be great, know that these are things that come with time and they come really fueled by intention. If you have the intention to get one day better at a time and you care about what you do and you're about connecting with others and leaving spaces better than when you came, even if you're unfamiliar with some of the things Travis mentioned, they will come naturally for you. And you will look back and be like, oh, I get what he was talking about. Like, I had to carry myself in this way or behave this way and really contribute to environments positively. So I really appreciate that rundown. And you already touched on skilling a little bit, but I think there's a little bit more that you probably have in the tank to share with people. How would you describe skills, certifications, anything adjacent in that ecosystem of what a person can be equipped with to thrive in your role or even beyond?
No, absolutely. And I think that there's definitely 2 areas that I want to touch on. And the first one is one that we don't always talk about a lot in a technical space, and that is soft skills.
Yeah.
And then the biggest piece is communication. It sounds simple, but sometimes it can be very difficult. And in a product engineering space, one of the biggest pieces of communication is understanding how to break down a technical problem to someone who knows absolutely nothing about your job.
Yeah.
So that every level, every person that you are impacting understands what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what it's going to impact for them.
Okay.
So as you talk through and as you're able to communicate, it allows you to be more aligned with the people that you're working with. It allows you to be more aligned with the goal that you're trying to reach. And it also aligns with what customers want. So I think that that is definitely a big piece is communicating, understanding how to communicate. And the big piece too in the communication, understanding your audience. Who are you talking to? What does that person need? Because that allows you to define that conversation and you walking away with knowledge of what you needed. And the
Yeah.
person that you're discussing it with walks away saying, oh, he answered my question. I was able to walk away with my question answered, and I understand the breakdown of how it's done.
Okay.
The second soft skill I want to touch on is adaptability. In this space of product engineering and PV&V, Every day is a new day. My job requires me to work on new features, new products that won't go to market for potentially 2 to 3 years. And as I'm testing these new features, as I'm testing these new products that will go to market for customers, there's going to be some stuff I don't know in the beginning because I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm trying to be a subject matter expert in that space. But the biggest piece is through adaptability is learning how to pivot and not only looking at that one solution, but understanding your alternatives. If I can't, if something doesn't work this way, what are other options I can do to get to my goal of where I want to be? There's always more than one way to get to your goal.
Yeah.
So as you adapt to the changes, as you're understanding what you need, that allows you to better align across the board with the people, as as well as expand your knowledge of how to get things done. So I think that those are two really big soft skills in the space that I'm in is communication, especially being here in Brazil, working globally. Communication is big. Here in Brazil, we speak Portuguese. In the US, we speak English. And everyone here in Brazil doesn't speak fluent English. So, how are we able to provide efficient communication to know what we need to deliver between the US and Brazil?
Yeah.
So being able to break that down, understanding what we need. And that also comes with adaptability because I have to learn Portuguese. I'm in a new space. So I'm in a new culture. So I have to be willing to adapt to not only learn Portuguese, but translate that to my stockholders globally that I'm working with.
Okay.
So I really wanted to tie that back a little bit, not only talk about the soft skills, but how that plays a part into what I do here in Brazil.
Yeah.
And as we tap into the other part that you talked about is technical skills. I would say the two biggest technical skills right now is going to be project management. You have a lot of features, a lot of things that you're testing every day. How are you managing that? How are you working through being able to understand what you're delivering and what is being asked of you?
Hmm.
So being able to manage your tasks, walk through, if that's having a spreadsheet every day, if that's having an Outlook document, being able to break that down to know what you need to deliver so that as your managers coming to you and saying, what do you need to get done today? You have a list to say, I need to get A, B, and C done. And that's going to be important because in a business, there's always a timeline. There's always a deadline. So
Yep.
being able to manage in that space allows you to deliver and to deliver on time. And even if you can't deliver on time, it allows you to have documentation as to why you have impediments.
Exactly.
The second one that I really want to talk about, and I think this is the last one I'll touch on,
Okay.
is problem solving. You have to be willing to go into the details. Sometimes you can't always sit on the surface.
Yeah.
So being able to dive a little bit deeper, asking those deep, detailed questions allows you to understand the process better and also understanding how things function. In my space, things break all the time. So as I'm on that machine and something breaks and I'm testing it, okay, now I need to diagnose why it's failing. What do I need? I need to look at the code. I need to look at the requirements. I need to talk with the stakeholders, diving a little bit deeper. And when you walk away, you say, oh man, now I know the entire process of how we develop this feature, how we're developing this product. And
Yeah.
the big piece is why. So be willing to dig a little bit deeper. Don't always sit on the surface because you find so much knowledge in the details.
Hmm.
And as you look forward in your career, it helps you as you move throughout because now you understand the right questions to ask.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you don't even have to know everything in a conversation to say, you know what? I remember something similar that I was in, and these are some good questions I think I need to ask. And you
Yep.
walk away, you not only help yourself by knowledge, you might sit in a meeting and someone might say, well, I didn't even think of that. So as you dig a little bit deeper, you help people who may not have thought of those solutions or
Hmm.
those directions, and then you help yourself walking away with knowledge skills.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing I'll touch on is certifications. Some of the things that I think that has helped me in my career is I have taken system engineering through Caltech,
Hmm.
and you really dive into the V. So the perception at the very beginning of a customer's feedback of what they want to deliver and how we turn that into a marketable feature, all the way through the validation of the product to the very end of the customer. So when you're actually delivering that feature to the customer.
Hmm.
So it teaches you about every single process in the loop as to how are you developing this? How are you marketing this? Do you have a customer base? What is the requirement? What is the development? What is the cost? How are you going to test this? How many machines are you going to build?
Yep.
How are you going to get this to the field? So all these areas have helped me to understand the full cycle of what we try to deliver to our customers.
Hmm.
And then IS2QB is also good as well. So it is a more of a software test certification that allows you to also learn about the V, but dive a little bit deeper into how are you developing your test plans and your test coverage to make sure you're covering everything for the quality of the product. So you have a set of features, you have a set of requirements. Now you're digging a little bit deeper as to how do you test it? How do you
Hmm.
provide quality? Because customers are purchasing in this machine. You purchase a brand new car off of the lot, you're gonna want it to work the way you want it to work. So
Yep.
when that product gets to market, you have to make sure that the quality is there of what we originally wanted to design.
Yes, sir.
Um, so tapping into that, man, those are some things that I would definitely dive deep into in the space that I'm in.
I love it. I love it. So you mentioned TMCF, which is an amazing organization. We can talk about TMCF forever, the impact that they're having on the world. And this is the perfect use case, right? You are
Mm-hmm.
abroad. TMCF helped you, groomed you, provided you resources, and that's why you are where you are now. And then us doing this pod, the people that we are reaching to, because we are just a little bit more informed as a result of Thurgood Marshall College Fund. So shout out to the work that they're doing over there. In addition to TMCF, what are some other programs, associations, organizations that you would encourage individuals to try to get closer to in proximity if they want to be around people who are like-minded, maybe who look like them, in the space of engineering, maybe your role specifically, or just maybe in the field itself?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So if you're in college and you're going through and you're getting your degree, whether that's in engineering, marketing, supply chain, get
Mhm.
involved in your professional orgs at your university. If that is NSBE, if that is NAPA, if that is National Black, if that is TMCF,
Mhm.
professional orgs that you think that will be valuable for your career, go for it. And there are a few reasons that I will say that. The first reason is not only do you want to get your degree at the university that you are in, but you want to have experience walking out of the door saying that I only have a degree to say that I'm certified, but I also have the skill set to get the job done. And that is where the workforce will teach you things that sometimes your degree won't always teach you is how to work together as a team, how
Mhm.
to define your goals and your stakeholders, how to determine the product that you're going to build, how to market that product, how to work with suppliers. The workforce is going to give you that opportunity to also tie your degree to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So the things that you're learning in the classroom, you can utilize that in the job or the internship or the development program that you're in and maximize that. And that also opens doors for relationships. As you said, Xavier, being in a space that's like minded with people that look like you allow you to build relationships so that when you do accept that full-time offer, you're coming back to people that you know, that you have relationships with, and you
Yeah.
trust.
A community.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that is a big piece in the world today. You want to be in a space that where you have a community and you have people that you can trust. People that as you go through things and you learn in your career, man, you can go over and say, hey, Xavier, I need to talk to you for a second, man, because I need to run some off of you to understand if I'm looking at this right, if I'm understanding this right, am I seeing the viewpoint? So that is a big piece that also allows you comfortability when you come back into your full-time opportunity. So definitely get involved in those professional organizations. Definitely get involved on your campus as well. Even being a part of SGA and professional orgs on your campus allow you to work on your people skills, your public speaking skills, and that's all of that is going to be valuable when you get in the workforce. Because if your ultimate vision is to be a director, a CEO, those CEOs talk to people all the time from different areas of the business.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. But those skills allow you to prepare yourself for your ultimate goal.
Yeah. Back-to-back meetings. The higher you climb, sometimes you just back all day in meetings. That's naturally what comes with some of the seniority. So I love that, man. Really helpful to kind of hear that advice, especially telling people to get into those professional organizations. Just do it. If you're not exactly sure all you're going to get out of it, just trust us. Do it. Give it a try. Get into an uncomfortable space, and hopefully you'll see kind of the opportunities multiply and see yourself mature and develop in a way that you'll look back and be really proud of. So now, man, you've been at John Deere for 9 years. You're dropping all these gems across so many areas. I mean, I know you, so I know this isn't really the truth, but you kind of coming across as like you really just always had it all together. Like you getting the internships, TMCF. If you could go back and give yourself any advice to better prepare yourself for your career, what would that advice look like?
Absolutely, man. And I think I touched on a little bit earlier that I wish I would have known when I was in college is going back and continue to be in a space to where I'm uncomfortable. Because that is how I'm going to continue to learn, and that's how I've learned in my 9-year career. So continuing to challenge myself, being in that space to continue to ask questions, especially as a graduate from school and you get into the workforce, sometimes it can be a little intimidating because you're in this space with new people, you're learning a new space, but it's okay to ask those questions.
Yeah.
And I think early in my career, I was a little bit nervous. But as I've grown throughout my career and I built those relationships, I would go back and tell myself, it's okay to learn. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to continue to grow because that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And that is something that I would also give the people on your channel, man, is continue to push yourself. The person that knows what you're most capable of is you. So being able to sit down and ask yourself, where do I want to be? What is my ultimate goal? And what does it take to get there? And continue to push yourself to get there. If that is doing stuff that you're uncomfortable with and figuring out how you can become comfortable with that by asking questions, doing research, talking with people who have been through those experiences, that is going to allow you to take that next step. So if I could talk to myself, man, as I was coming out and graduating, continue to ask questions, continue to be uncomfortable, because those are valuable things that now you look back and you're teaching the next generation behind you.
Yeah. And there are some different personalities. I know my personality is probably closer to that as well, where you don't really like being uncomfortable as much. More of you just feel more confident when you know what you're doing, you know what's going on. And sometimes you can be tough on yourself of like, if I don't know what I'm doing, I must be failing. If I don't know what I'm doing, I must not be doing the job that needs to be done the way it needs to be done. And I think that's really important to call out for other, people who are listening in or watching the episode of it's okay. The fact that you care is something that should be highlighted to yourself. You can acknowledge the fact that you care, and other people can see it too. And putting yourself in uncomfortable environments truly is a way that you will grow. you'll appreciate it, and you're going to constantly tackle new challenges. And if you were to kind of allow that fear to take over where you want to stay comfortable, you're really not going to be able to push the envelope and pick up new things. So it's okay. You're not alone if that's how you feel. I promise you, I know how it feels. And Travis kind of mentioned it as well. So just continue to be fearless, continue being your normal self and having high standards, but also give yourself some grace, man.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself some grace. Enjoy life a little bit more. Let's try to find a way in our community how we can mitigate and minimize anxiety and stress around things of that nature, where you feel like, oh, I'm like one of only so many Black people in this space.
Mm-hmm.
So I represent my entire community.
Mm-hmm.
There is some validity to it, and there is some amazing energy about that kind of really helps and aids you, or I can speak for myself. But also, let's try to find a way we can, de-risk that, take care of your mental health. And as I'm on that slight tangent rant, we can get back to talking about what advice you would give yourself. So something I want to transition to, this is kind of housekeeping. You've been at John Deere 9 years, doing a lot of great work. You talked about your journey there. I assume you're not in the same level you've been at since you've been at John Deere. So we're giving all this great advice where if maybe people are interested in entering the field of engineering, wanting to be a product engineer, wanting to work in some capacity that you're working in, what do they have to look forward to in terms of career trajectory, different levels that they can maybe climb to, maybe not climb to? How would you give an overview of what that career path looks like being in your field?
So that career path with being in the product engineering and PV&V space is very broad.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because you're so close to the project and the product that you become a subject matter expert in the projects that you're working on. And you're working with so many stakeholders across the board to deliver that you can then transition from an engineer to customer support. You can transition from customer support to marketing. You can transition to a director because now you're understanding the pieces. And that goes back to the point that we talked about, being comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it all ties together. So it is a very broad opportunity of experiences that you can be in from the space that I'm in. And just to take a little bit step back. So I went from intern, and Deere has this program which we call a EDP program. So it's an engineering development program.
Yep.
It is a 2-year program, and you are able to do 3 different positions for 8 months. And it allowed me in this space to learn what do I like the best and where can I be my best self.
Now, is this 8 months each rotation or 3 rotation in 8 months?
3 rotations, each one is 8 months. So
Dang,
it's a full of 2-year program.
That's nice.
So when I came in full time with Deere, I did embedded software development. I did product PV&V. And then I also did product test for ISG products, which is our intelligent solution group. So that would be like our displays, our satellites, all of the technology that goes within our ag equipment. And I was able to learn in different areas. And I would say, you know what? I came in thinking that I like this, but I like this more. Or I came in and I said, you know what? I think I can grow in this area, so I want to try this. And I think that allowed me to even have even more initiative to stay with Deere, because now I was able to experience different areas of the business and see where I could provide value for myself and for the business. Yeah. And then that allowed me to seek even further as I went through the remaining of my career. What else can I do? How can that tie to what I've already learned? What do I not know? How can I get that experience? So I would definitely say that beginning sparked something to where I wanted to continue to learn and to challenge myself in these spaces to learn the business that I was in.
Man, so I need to know a little bit more about the person behind all this excellence, and the people do too. What drives you? Who or what inspires you? I need to know it.
Absolutely, man. So my family is number one. My family and God, man. My daughter that I have, my wife, they're always driving me. My mom, my dad, my siblings. I'm the youngest of five, and they drive me to be excellent in what I do. But the biggest piece is to also stay humble, because just as fast as you have it, it can be taken away. So you have to be humble with the experiences and the things that you gain and the people that are around you, and being able to not only utilize the knowledge that has been given to you, but also help the person behind you.
Yeah.
So my family drives me, man. I have a large family. My mom is one of 11. My dad's one of 9.
Wow.
I have family all over the world. And I continue to talk to my cousins I grew up with who are also doing well. Some of
Mhm.
them are also in engineering. So we're able to piggyback off ideas off of. So it's good. Even my friends, man, friends I went to high school with, friends that I
Yeah.
went to college with, man, that I continue to talk to, that I graduated with.
Yeah.
Um, it is a blessing to see not only that I am doing well, but my circle is. And that is also important, man. It's like I also not only have to allow people to drive me and see what drives, but I also have to give back to drive the people around me to make sure that they're driving for their goals as well. So truly, it's a give and take. You continue to drive to be successful, but you pull people up with you, because to be honest, it's lonely at the top by yourself.
Yes,
So
sir.
so you want to make sure that you're pulling people with you to the top alongside you so that they can see success together. Because
Mm.
everybody has a goal, everybody has a vision of where they want to be. But you
Yeah.
got to be willing to talk to your friends, talk to your family, and understand, where do you want to be? How can I help you
Oof.
get there?
You about to make me
You're
write some
helping me.
stuff down.
Right. Right. So it's a give and take, man.
Yeah.
And life is precious. So you have to definitely take one day at a time and sit back and say, how can I get better? What do I need to do today?
Yep.
And those people keep me on track. As I look at my daughter, man, she's 2 years old. She's learning fluent Portuguese in Brazil. And me being in this position with my wife allows my daughter, as she goes through her life, to have an experience in her life to say, you know what? Although my parents are here, I lived in Brazil as a toddler.
Mhm.
So those things, and I want her to continue to learn. I want her to continue to grow. So those things continue to strive me because I see myself in my child.
Yes, sir.
I see myself in my family. My family sees themselves in me,
Mhm.
and I want to make sure that I'm making not only myself proud, but the people around me, to so that I can continue to grow and be the person that I am.
That's it, man. Shout out to the dynasty that you're a part of. I think a lot of us feel that way about our families, our village, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Some things that come to mind based on what you said, bro. Reach one, teach one. Show me the closest people to you. Show me your 5 friends or your 5 closest people. I'll show you your future. Right. That's number
Mm-hmm.
2. And the third, shout out to an amazing leader at Accenture who said this to me, and I don't think I had heard it before or just didn't remember it. Service is the rent we pay for living.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that and when I really, latched onto it, it kind of explained a lot of my life. And it is lonely at the top. And you just know whatever you do for others, the service that you put out in the world is going to come
Mm-hmm.
back to you tenfold. That's what I believe. It's going to come back to you tenfold.
Absolutely.
So although a lot of times you may feel that things are competitively driven, it's a competition, crabs in the barrel, all the things that we've heard. I think living with the mindset of giving and service and helping others, enabling others, uplifting others is going to come back to you and is going to pour into your life. So I appreciate you essentially saying all of that to say, but I think it's just really important for people to kind of hone in there. And man, as we close with all the gems that you've provided the audience, that you've provided me, that I really appreciate, man, is there anything else you want to leave the people with?
Continue to strive for where you want to be. Don't give up. There's always obstacles that are in the way, but there's always ways to get around those obstacles. There's always goals that you want to reach. Continue to reach for those goals.
Yeah.
And if you have any time to where you say, hey, maybe this isn't the goal that I want to be, take a step back. And as Xavier said earlier, give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Because anything worth having is worth working for.
Yes,
So
sir.
continue to strive and reach for those goals. Sometimes it's gonna be hard, but you're gonna eventually get there.
I love that, man. All right. Well, very, very, very last thing that I want you to leave the people with as well is we have another segment called a 3-piece. So you're a Bama boy. I'm a Mississippi, Bama, you know, a few places I claim, and we all know about a 3-piece somewhere, chicken, fish, whatever it is. I need a 3-piece from you, bro. I need you to give me a 3-piece about your career. What are 3 words you would say that describe your career journey?
I would say adventurous is number 1. I would say you got me thinking here. I got a lot of things, but you
Yeah, 2
narrowed it
more.
down to 3 here.
2
But I would
more.
definitely say adventurous is 1. I would say humble is number 2, because as you move through this space, you always have to sit back and be grateful
Yeah.
for where you are. And I think the third piece that I would say is inventive. Is for me, I'm always open to being on the cutting edge, but you have to continue to push yourself to be there to figure out what's next. So I enjoy being in a space that there is always something new to learn and to grow. So I would definitely say those 3 spaces that I would touch on as that 3-piece.
Let's go. The 3-piece: adventurous, humble, and inventive. Man, it was a pleasure. I don't have the words, but I thank you so much. Just a small interaction we've even had during that internship during 2017 was very impactful on me. Kind of a guardrail, if you will, where you see people who look like you doing amazing things, holding high the standard of Alabama A&M University, and just kind of being a productive citizen all the way around. So I thank you for coming here to this platform to share your story, to share 9 years of things that you've learned along the way. And I think that people have heard gems from you that you've gotten from others around the world. So I think it's really important for people to kind of think about some of the things you guys are hearing and being exposed to right now. It has traveled through so many brains, so many people around the world. So my brother, I thank you, bro. I give you your flowers. This is a space where, you've earned that. And I want to be that for you in this moment. And thank you so much for serving everyone who's been listening in. And it was a pleasure. And we'll be chopping it up soon, brother.
Absolutely, man. Boa noite. Ciao, ciao.
There you go. Cool, man. All right. I appreciate you, brother. Man, much love to that guy. Amazing. Already went on and on. If you guys stuck to the end, you see the kind of person he is, the kind of father he is, the kind of husband he is, the kind of bulldog he is. And like I always say, I bring people in front of you guys who I believe will drop some gems. So I hope that something that he said was impactful to you. And I hope that the conversation in some way poured into your life. Really enjoyed it. It was a treat for me. I can't say none of that Portuguese stuff, but what I can say is stay happy, stay blessed.